name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Have you been watching what Trump has done today? This is one of the most historic things, if not the most historic event I have ever seen at the White House. And I think everyone, even the Trump haters, have to agree with that. This is amazing, okay? So Trump brings all the major allies from Europe. Europe came to him at the White House. It's amazing what's happened, because here we've got a crisis in the world, right? We've got this crisis in Europe. We've got this war. We want to end the war, and Trump wants to end the war. So he meets with our NATO allies. Usually what a president would do would be go to Europe, meet them one-on-one, maybe go to the NATO headquarters and meet with a bunch of them. But they all came to the White House, where Trump was holding court. And they drove up one by one and got out. Nothing like that has ever happened before. I watched the press event with Zelenskyy, and then the press event with the leaders with Trump. Nothing like that's ever happened before. It is so historic, okay? So, and Zelenskyy, who obviously is wearing a suit today, although a strange suit. And we got to admit, he's got a strange suit. I mean, it looks like a black, you know what it looks like? It looks like a black leisure suit from the 70s is what it looks like. But it's a suit. He's wearing a suit, so, you know. I'm sure he appreciates everyone commenting that he's wearing a suit at the, and, you know, President Trump commented on it as soon as he got there, and then Brian Glenn, you know. He's a big boy now, yeah. But nothing like this has ever happened before. And it's really, it shows you that under President Trump, the United States, we are in our proper place in the world as the leader of the free world. Have you ever seen all of these European, I mean, these guys, they're presidents and prime ministers of their countries. They got countries to run. They dropped everything they're doing on a dime and flew here today because they were summoned by the President of the United States. I have never seen that happen before. Nothing like this has happened before. And they all are following the lead of President Trump. Now, with all that being said, you know, Zelenskyy looks very happy today. I got to tell you, from the moment he got out of the car, through everything I've seen him with, he looks like he's in a very good mood. I don't know what to make of that, other than I do believe him when he says he wants peace today. This is the first time I've ever believed Zelenskyy when he said that he wants peace, okay? And he's in such a good mood, he's got to be willing to deal. He must have in his mind he's ready to make some deals. The only thing that remains is, where's Putin's head right now, right? I mean, Russia just did some bombings in Ukraine in the last few minutes. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll do a podcast tomorrow covering all of this, taking calls, and of course I'll be on in the morning. The reason I'm not taking calls now is because I'm watching everything that's going on, and it's developing so fast. I thought I'd do a quick live stream here and we could talk about it. But Zelenskyy, and we've been following him for years now. Let me ask you guys, those of you that are MAGA, like I am, do you believe Zelenskyy today wants peace? Yes or no? Does Zelenskyy look like he wants peace today? That he wants to make a deal with Russia? Yes or no? What do you guys think? I say yes. I really do, watching him today. Now, what he's willing to offer and what deal he's willing to make, I don't know. But he definitely looks like he's ready to end. You know, you guys have seen the latest polls. 69% of Ukrainians want the war to end. So he's got to do something to end this. Yep, seeing a lot of yeses in there. Yeah, and that really says a lot. It really does. Totally different. Yeah, I mean, he is a changed man, Zelenskyy. I've never seen Zelenskyy like this. I've never been a fan of Zelenskyy, never trusted him. He was always annoying to me, but today he seems different. He really seems different. You know what I wonder? It's hard to say because none of us are experts on all this, but in eastern Ukraine, the Ukrainians that are in the occupied area, the parts that are occupied by Russia right now, how Russian are those people and how Ukrainian are those people? Do you guys know what I mean by that? The people in that occupied zone, where's their allegiance? Do they lean towards Russia? Do they lean towards Ukraine? Does anyone really know? They border Russia. It used to be Russia. So, I mean, I assume that a lot of them are sympathetic to Russia. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But if they have to give that whole eastern section to Russia, let them have it. Let them have it. And concessions equal. Easy for you to say, Paul, wherever you're watching me. I mean, there's people that are dying as we're speaking. Zelenskyy said, if it was today or yesterday, a 1.5-year-old child, Ukrainian child, died. So it's easy for you to be all butch and stand up to Putin watching me on a monitor somewhere. Give me a break. Can you imagine what it must be like for those poor parents? And that's happening every day. So no, it's time to end it. And it's time to end it. It's got to end. There's too many people that are dying. I think this is amazing. There's no way President Trump has all this ceremony going on without the intention on accomplishing something. This is how NATO is supposed to operate, right? And they don't normally operate like this because our past presidents are corrupt or incompetent, or they just are checked out, right? Or they don't care. Welcome, everyone. Yep, make sure you subscribe. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. So in other news, MSNBC is going bye-bye. They're transforming into, what is it, Kathy? MS
Now.
MS Now, okay.
My sources, news, opinion, world.
I can't remember all that.
Yeah,
Nobody can remember that. So MSNBC is transforming. They're leaving NBC. They're becoming MS Now, which means the company that controls them now after all this is over, they're going to drop. They're not going to last. They changed their name to something that I can't even remember. I've read like 5 articles. I can't remember the name of it. My wife just told me the name and I can't remember it. And it's not very good brand. They have not put much thought into the. Now, if they would change the name from MSNBC to MSDNC, at least they'd get the liberals watching. And I remember when MSNBC debuted, it was much different than it was very weird. Do you remember they had this? They had this show on MSNBC. They used to take live calls. They did talk shows like they do now, and they'd have pundits, and the pundits were in studio, and they had a host, and they were sitting at a table. And they gave out a phone number, and you can call in. Remember, Kathy? I used to call in all the time.
Characters.
Yeah, they did. Yes, I used to call in all the time to MSNBC in that first year where they took live calls, and then they stopped doing that. But
Probably because of you.
Yeah, maybe because of me. It was. I used to call all the time, and then they had this other show with Soledad O'Brien. That was so weird because it was MS from Microsoft and Windows was a big deal back. I have all Apple, Windows sucks. And Bill Gates is a weirdo. But Microsoft was a big deal then, so the MS is for Microsoft, if you don't know. They were trying to be all tech cool, So Soledad O'Brien hosted a show with a co-host that was like they had a set on MSNBC. It was a set of a coffee bar, because I guess coffee bars were pretty cool back then, And her co-host was a virtual, animated, computerized co-host. It was kind of like Max Headroom. Does anybody remember that? It was very bizarre. It was very different than it is now. But it's going to go down. Nobody's going to watch this new thing. Yeah. Oh. But if they change the name to MSDNC, all the liberals would flock to it and watch it. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. So I asked the question a few minutes ago, but a lot of people have jumped in, so I'm going to ask it again because a lot of people have jumped in. And my answer to this question is yes, and it was all yeses in the chat at the time. Zelenskyy seems different today, doesn't he? Right. And this is the first time that I can say, watching Zelenskyy, that he wants to end the war, that he wants peace, that he's ready to make a deal and end the war. Do you agree with that? Do you believe Zelenskyy today that he wants to end the war? Yes or no? Yeah, it might be because of that poll. Yes. What do you guys? Do you agree? I believe him today. I really do, and that's saying a lot because I've never liked this guy. You know, and that suit he's wearing is just so strange, isn't it? It's a strange suit. Okay, so here's the new MSNBC. I remember when it first started, MSNBC, people were like, PMSBC, remember that? Okay, it's going to be called MS Now, from MSNBC to MS Now, My Source, News, Opinion, and World. Okay, that seems pretty lame. That seems pretty lame. Yeah.
So my source maybe means like it's my source for information.
Our source. I said
Our
viewer.
Source, like my source, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're nobody's source.
To me, it seems like their source is the CIA. You know, FBI, CIA, deep state. You know, and I was so surprised. You know, I heard a lot of people today talking about that bizarre Comey video about Taylor Swift. And if you were watching me on the live stream this morning, you heard me say this. But I'll just restate it quickly for those that missed my live stream this morning. That video about Taylor Swift and Comey was so bizarre. And this is what I think Comey was doing. I know this will sound crazy to some people, but those of you who think this is crazy, if you think about it, I think you'll think I'm onto something, okay? He did this long video. It's about 5.5 minutes long, and it was scripted, Comey, about Taylor Swift. And he named all these particular songs, and he's a Swiftie, and he's in a Swiftie chat group, and all this crap. And this is what I think Comey was doing. Comey is under surveillance because he's about to be indicted for treason and espionage. Okay, so he can't talk to anyone without it being monitored by the FBI now, the Cash Patel Dan Bongino FBI. I think he was sending out a coded message to his co-conspirators. I really do. I think he was communicating with them, and if you have whatever the deciphering code ring is, you can go to those songs he listed, go through the lyrics with whatever code key they use, and find out what he's trying to communicate. I believe that. I know that sounds nuts. I almost didn't say it on the show this morning because I thought people would think I was crazy. But when I said it, the more I believed it. Why else would someone like that, would a grown man who's like 64 years old make a video about Taylor Swift for 5.5 minutes, going through details of different songs and everything? It was like, go to this song and get out your code. You guys think do you agree with that? Yes or no? That he was communicating with his co-conspirators, you know, the Brennans and all those people, through this video? Because he knows he can't send an email, a text, or make a phone call. It's all being monitored. They probably have bugs in his house, in his car, and everything else. What do you got? Do you think that makes sense? Yes or no? Or am I nuts? I could be nuts and I could still be right, you know.
Yeah, it could be both.
Mm-hmm. No, ain't nobody listening. Well, that's a double negative. That means everyone's listening. And by the way, you're listening. So, to respond to me. So, Susan says, absolutely. Yep, got a yes in there. Yeah. And why aren't these, has no one thought of this that's on the cable news? I mean, I haven't heard one person say this. They're just laughing like he's into little girls' music, like he's a tween. I'm in Florida. We don't have basements in Florida. Yeah. If I were one of these pundits on TV today, I would definitely say yes. I would say he's communicating. It's a code. I would say it. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's so weird to come out and do something so out of character. And if that's true, I wonder what he's communicating, like something big is happening. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe he got word that the indictments have come down, and he was telling them who's gotten indicted. You're in Florida and you have a basement. Where in Florida are you with a basement? Where in Florida are you where you have a basement? Oh yeah, it's got this really big on the back too. There are no basements in Daytona. Nope.
Definitely not.
There are no basements in Daytona
It's right
Beach,
on the
Florida.
beach.
That's on the water, man. It's at sea level.
Nice try.
Oh my goodness.
That was like when they heard the Daytona 500.
I mean, if you're gonna lie, my goodness.
Daytona. That's all.
Oh my goodness.
You're like it 2 feet.
If you dug a hole in your
level.
backyard, like if I dig a hole I've dug holes in my backyard, I get down like 2 feet. I'm on a coral reef in my backyard. It's all coral,
Yes.
and then there's water. Then there's it's like ridiculous. You have 2 basements in Daytona. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, Daytona, Michigan, maybe, not Daytona, Florida. And first of all, it's not Daytona. It's Daytona Beach. And if you were really there, you would say Daytona Beach. Daytona Beach is not just the beach, and it's Daytona Beach is the city. Oh my goodness, all these incel trolls, you know, they're terrible liars. I've lived in Florida my whole life. Believe me, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, cracks me up. Somebody tried to tell me that there's a basement at Mar-a-Lago. There's no. I was reading an article right after they broke into Mar-a-Lago, and it was in one of those liberal New York Times, Vanity Fair, one of those things, and they were talking about how Trump had files in the basement at Mar-a-Lago. There's no basement at Mar-a-Lago. Waterproofing and proper ground management? No.
They're really trying to make this lie
Nope.
real.
No, it doesn't work that way in Florida, man. It does not work that way. The only thing that even comes close is sometimes what they'll do I've seen on some properties that are like where there's mansions, they'll build a big mound of dirt, right? A big mound of dirt. They'll compact it down. It's above the ground, and they'll put something inside that mound of dirt. That's not a basement either. No.
Yeah, like one of those hillside dwellings.
Yeah.
Like Laura Ingalls used to live in. Like
Exactly.
Inside a hill,
Oh my
but that was
goodness.
above ground.
People are so stupid. If you're gonna lie a little bit better than that. It is. If you dig in, if you go out on the street in front of my house with the asphalt, the blacktop, it's got shells in it. The roads, and that's because when you dig for rock in Florida, you got shells. Well, anyway, back to what's important, other than these incels that with their fictitious basements and their fantasy life that they live. Have you ever heard anybody say they live in Daytona? No, it's the Daytona 500. But if they say, "Where do you live?" Daytona Beach. I live in Daytona Beach.
I don't know anybody.
I've never heard anybody say I
that
live in
lives
Daytona. I've never heard anybody say I live in. It's Daytona Beach, not Daytona.
I've never even met anybody from Daytona.
Oh yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah. People are so stupid. Get real lives. Get real lives. I should do these live streams while school's still in. School's out, so you got all the kids. But anyway, back to what's important. This incredible meeting that Daytona. Yeah, they live in Daytona Beach. No one says they live in Daytona. Oh my goodness. It's like I was watching Dexter the other day, and they keep it's supposed to be in Miami, but they film it in L.A. They keep mispronouncing and saying, because the one guy, the one detective, he was going to go interview a suspect on Brickell Avenue, Brickell, or they were going to. I told you I was watching it a while back, and they were going to meet. They were going to meet out at. They were going to meet at Alligator Alley. First off, you don't meet at Alligator. It's a road. You don't meet at Alligator Alley. There's no place to meet. There's a road you could drive on. That's like saying I'm going to meet you at I-95.
It's a two-way road.
Yeah, I'm going to meet you at I-95. Oh, okay. What the freak does that mean?
That's funny.
So when you pretend to be someplace you're not, there's the lingo just doesn't work. But back to what's this incredible meeting today. So Trump has got a deal that he talked to Putin. The mood that Zelenskyy is in a way I've never seen Zelenskyy so happy as he is today. I have not seen him so happy. It's the first time I've ever seen Zelenskyy that I believed him today. He's changed. He already knows the deal because when Trump met Putin on Friday in Alaska, he called Zelenskyy on the way back to Washington, went over there. So he knows everything. So Trump and Zelenskyy have already talked. So Trump and Zelenskyy already have a deal, a response to maybe like a counteroffer to Putin. He wore a suit, a strange suit, but he wore a suit, a black suit. Looked like he was going to a funeral, but, you know, whatever. A funeral in 77. But, you know. But so they already have a counter proposal. And after everything is done today at the White House, President Trump's going to call Putin and go over everything that he talked about with Zelenskyy and the NATO leaders. So, if Putin doesn't go for it, he doesn't go for it. You know? But I just think that Trump and Zelenskyy in particular and the European leaders are in too good of a mood not to believe that there's going to be a deal. And would Trump put together this majestic event that's something that's never happened before? If he didn't think there was a possibility of a deal, I would say no. But, you know, Putin's crazy. Now Putin, it seems to me that whatever deal they have in mind, that there's some type of DMZ type thing like we have in Korea, where there's some type of American or NATO military along whatever the border will be. Is what it seems like to me. I've heard it come up a couple of times. It came up in the Oval Office event with Trump and Zelenskyy today. And I think it came up with the other leaders too. I can't remember for sure. It might have come up then, not 100%. But it has come up at least twice, if not 3 times today, of having kind of like some type of military, a NATO or U.S. military force along the border, which of course Putin wouldn't want to mess with that. And that would be, to me, reasonable. I think that's very reasonable and rational, don't you? I'm watching, actually, I'm flipping between Fox, CNN, Newsmax, and MSNBC. And it doesn't matter where you're watching, because what I'm watching is the live feed coming from the White House. So, you know, that's right coming from the
crash in Fort Pierce?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So that, I mean, that's that. And it's up to Putin now. But they all seem happy. Don't the European leaders all seem happy? Yeah, they all seem happy. If they didn't think they had a deal, would they be in such a good mood? Would these European leaders all come and fly here for nothing? I don't think so, and I don't think Trump would make such a big deal about it. I think if there was if there was zero possibility of a deal, Trump would just say so. Right? He wouldn't go through all this and look like a failure. Now, that doesn't mean that Putin's going to agree to what they have in mind, but it almost seems like they have. It almost seems to me that Putin gave what he wanted from Trump, and Zelenskyy and the European leaders are like, okay with it. They're all just in too high spirits, especially Zelenskyy today, especially Zelenskyy. Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? Yeah, you know, and President Trump he said this in the Zelenskyy event, and he also said this on True Social either today or yesterday. He said if Putin gave all of Ukraine back and surrendered St. Petersburg, Russia, and all the territory between Ukraine and St. Petersburg, the liberal media would still say that Trump made a bad deal. So he just doesn't care what the media think. I wouldn't say I've hated Zelenskyy, because I reserve hate for very few, but I've never liked him until today. in this exchange he had, he took a good swipe at Brian Glenn. Did you guys see Brian Glenn? So Brian Glenn, he asked a question, and he says, "Oh, you look great, President Zelenskyy." And Zelenskyy says, "I remember you. Yes, I remember you." And then Brian Glenn complimented Zelensky's suit, and then Zelenskyy took a shot back at Brian Glenn and says, "Oh yes, you're wearing the same suit as last time." When this war first started, Zelenskyy barely spoke a word of English. Now he speaks pretty good English, better English than some of these incels in the chat, these trolls. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I hope that they come to an agreement. I hope this war ends. I mean, come on. There's thousands of people dying every single week over there. I mean, it's just... It's just got to stop. How long can this go on? I mean, they're drafting senior citizens in the Ukrainian army. They got North Koreans fighting for the Russians. I mean, they both sides have taken a lot of losses. And I was watching the General Keane on Fox today, and he was talking about how much territory Ukraine has lost to Russia, what Russia's occupying. And after all these years, very little territory. It's basically a stalemate right now. And Russia's been bogged down at the current battle lines for the last couple of years. I don't know why you would say something like that, Bowfinger. I mean, Trump's saving lives. We do not have gulags in America. No gulags in America. So they got the world leaders there as well. And I was starting to think today, I was watching Macron, and I was starting, Macron and his wife have been going after Candace Owens. You guys probably follow some of that. No, it's Alligator Alcatraz, like right here on my shirt. Alligator Alcatraz. Right there. Not Auschwitz, Alcatraz. I think Trump told Macron to go after Candace Owens, right? Because Trump's always going after people in the media. I think that Trump told Macron to do that. I saw a little bit of Candace Owens the other day. She's lost her mind. She looks completely insane. I don't know if it's giving birth, but something has just triggered her. She's had Candace Owens has had a mental break from reality, and it's been getting worse. And it's probably why they got rid of her at the Daily Wire. She's nuts. No, Alligator Alcatraz is not a prison. It's not a jail. It is a, what would be the best way to describe it? It's a holding center while you're deported to your country of origin or to one of those great jails in El Salvador. I don't think she was always insane, or unless she covered it up when she was conservative years ago. But she is just totally lost her mind. And, if you watch her now, think about this. A detention center. Yeah. Ugh. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Detention center is basically what it is, like juvie. If you watch Candace Owens now, how much time does she spend talking about herself and how others are reacting to her, as opposed to talking about news and issues? It seems like a lot. That's the beginning of the end for personalities, when all their content becomes about them and what people are saying to them and how people are reacting to them. They're no longer, like what I do. You hear me talking about, I might talk about things I've encountered, like these dangerous homeless people I was talking about today at the beach that I encountered yesterday. But I don't talk about how people are commenting on me or responding to me and what this means for me. I'm talking about the news and the issues. And Candace Owens, a big chunk of her comment is talking about herself. And when you hear someone talk about themselves in the third person, they've totally lost their shit. I mean, they've just lost it. When you hear Candace Owens say, refer to herself as Candace Owens, like oh, Macron says that Candace Owens is this and Candace Owens is that, and you know when you hear people talk like that, they're totally off their rocker. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe if you are new. Of course, on my regular streams when I'm in the studio, I take live calls and I have a toll-free number that I put in the chat. And all of you that watch me online can call me live on the stream. Oh, you look at, does Trump look like he's got a worry in the world today? Did Zelenskyy look worried today? Do any of these European leaders look worried today? I don't think so. You know, it's interesting. NATO was formed to stand up against the Soviet Union and stop Soviet aggression in Europe. And what it's become is just, like USAID, just another big tax ripoff of the American taxpayer. Today was the first time I saw NATO acting like it was supposed to act, right? Come together. There's a problem in Europe. It's Russia. Used to be the Soviet Union. It's Russia. What are we going to do about it? They all got together. They got a solution, and Putin's going to get a call tonight from Trump and saying, okay, we all got together. This is it. And he's either going to agree with it or not. But if Putin doesn't go along with it, he's going to be isolated from the world. We can't do much about China doing business with Russia, but no other country in the world is going to be able to do business with Russia of any kind, or Trump is going to slap another additional massive tariff on them. So Russia will not be able to survive like that. They'll collapse financially. What lives have been lost from cutting USAID? I missed that. What lives have been lost? I know liberals say that, but why isn't MS Now or CNN showing all the dead? And why would people have died in the last couple of months because of USAID funding being cut? What happened that would cause them to die? That doesn't even make sense. How do you die because USAID's funding has been cut off? How did that happen? Exactly. When you think about it for a second, it sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it? That's right. Brain rot. Yeah, liberal brain rot. That's exactly right. Liberal brain rot. Well, you can eat alligator. Have any of you eaten alligator? You eat the gator tail. I'm not a big fan of it. If you ever get gator, everybody gets it as kind of like it. I've had it a few times. If you're gonna get it, you want to get it blackened, and it tastes like. Everybody says it tastes like chicken. Slightly, it tastes like three things: chicken, fish, and lizard. It has a texture that's reptilian.
Like?
When you eat gator tail, you'll know. The texture of it seems reptilian, for good reason. Yeah, right? Because it's gator. It does not taste like lobster. No.
It's tough.
It's basically a tourist trap food, is what it is, right? Like a restaurant that's in a tourist area, we serve gator. So tourists will go in there and order gator. But if you order gator, get it as an appetizer. Don't get it as your meal, and get something like real good, okay, for your meal.
It's a good dipping sauce.
Yeah, it's a tourist trap food. It doesn't taste that good. But if you get it blackened. And then you can tell everybody you ate gator. I've had it a few times. Okay. It comes usually fried, like what does it come like? Not hush puppies, but like what's the seafood dish you get fried sometimes? It comes in pieces, like little pieces. But you get it usually. It comes in like small pieces, like fried.
Like nuggets.
Yeah, like a nugget, like a tender kind of. Yeah, you get it like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not really like a fillet.
No. It's not like a fillet of fish.
No.
Gator tail.
It's usually like bites.
Yeah, calamari. That's right. It's kind. It comes
Yeah,
kind of like it's
yeah,
kind of.
calamari.
It looks kind of like calamari. Yeah, but it does not taste like calamari.
It's not good.
It's not that good. No, it sucks. It's good. It's just something you do so you can say, "Oh, I had it." You know. Okay. What do you want to eat next? Snake.
Exactly. It's gross.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you know? How do you know if Native Americans eat gator
Mm,
down here?
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like calamari. Looks like calamari when they serve it to you. Yeah, yeah. But gators will eat you. They will eat
Well,
people.
that's for sure.
Yeah, people do get killed by gators from time to time. Not Floridians, because we know how to handle ourselves and not go where the gators are. Most of the people that end up in trouble with gators are tourists and people new to Florida. And if anybody's stupid enough to try to escape Alligator Alcatraz. But before they got out there where the gators are, they'd have to get through all the guards. Mm-hmm. But no, there's definitely a mood change with Zelenskyy today. This is not the normal Zelenskyy. The only time I saw him get upset is when he was talking about that 1.5-year-old child that got killed in the Russian attack. That's god awful. MAGA for life, Jerry. That's right. MAGA forever. That's right. I got to tell you, though, I've been so impressed by Marco Rubio over the weekend on all these shows. Martha Raddatz, he cleaned that idiot's clock, and the other shows he went on. He is so good. I would be very happy with Marco Rubio being the second MAGA president after Trump's third term. Yeah. That would be, he'd be very good. Plus, I would not mind having another president from Florida. Mm-hmm. Oh, he is awesome, isn't he? He's really grown up. During the first campaign, he was a little younger and inexperienced, but Rubio is awesome now. Yeah, I interviewed him when he was running for Senate, and I couldn't believe. I got a call from his office asking if I wanted to interview him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa. I guess because I'm here in Florida. So they figure, rightly so, that I've got good reach here in Florida. I was so impressed. And he called me on his cell phone. I couldn't believe it. I looked at the call. It said Marco Rubio on my caller ID. I should have taken a screenshot of it. I was like, holy shit. I answered the phone, and he asked for me. I said, Senator Rubio. Now it'd be secretary. J.D. Vance is good, too, but Marco Rubio, he's just a little older and seasoned and experienced. He is very, very wise, Marco Rubio. And I love how when he was on Martha Raddatz, who's just an old hag, and which other show was he on? Was he on with that, the idiot that's married to the Syrian guy?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, what her name? She's whiter than me. What's her name? Martha Raddatz is the old hag.
Yeah.
Face the Nation is the one that the other woman's on. I forgot her name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
She's another, Brennan, Margaret Brennan.
Yeah.
She's, Martha Raddatz and Margaret Brennan is a nasty, sicko, psycho. I knew she was nuts. She was the White House correspondent for CBS when Obama was president. And I remember Obama had his last press conference as president. She was in the front row. She was so giddy. I'm like, why is she so excited? And then she's married to she's got a Muslim fetish. She's married to a Syrian.
Sunday morning shows on Fox are women.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, right. They're all women.
All women.
Yeah.
What is that, Maria
Yeah.
Bartiromo?
Just like the people that run DC into the, look what happens.
Welker
Kristen Welker, Martha Raddatz, and Margaret Brennan, all women.
and Maria Bartiromo.
Yep, Bartiromo, yep.
Interesting.
Help your farmers pick food. They're not deporting the illegals on the farms.
No? Trump's letting them stay.
They're letting them stay. I mean, eventually they'll have to go, but what would that do to food prices? And I'll tell you this. My wife and I were talking about this today. Restaurants are ripping us off, okay? The price at the grocery store has come down across the board. Okay, $1 here, a couple dollars there. Everything is less money at the grocery store than it was. Even coffee's come down, by the way. And if you look at the restaurant prices, though, were out of this just sky high. They raised their prices during Biden's auto pin. And they just aren't lowering their prices. Newsom's insane. Gavin Newsom is a lunatic. He's completely insane. But I have no doubt that Comey was using code in that video. It was just too weird. Why would he do that all of a sudden? It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was just bizarre.
I thought everybody would be saying this today, and no one has said it. So if you hear anybody say it, I was the first. I talked about it this morning in detail when I played it. It makes no sense. If you had the decoder key, whatever they use, and you went to those songs he listed, you would find out what he was trying to say.
You have like one of those decoder pins like from A Christmas Story.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and they have all these retired intelligence people all over the news, and nobody picks up on this?
Well, maybe they know and they don't want to say it. Perhaps.
Gavin 2028 for what? President of the Looney Bin? I mean, golly, look at what happened in Malibu. He hasn't lifted a finger to help Malibu after those fires last year. He's incompetent. Would you want Gavin Newsom as president of the United States during a crisis? Are you kidding me?
When he sleeps with his friends' wives.
Yeah, exactly. Scumbag. Total scumbag. And remember during the lockdowns, right? They were arresting people for going out to restaurants and things or going outside in California. And then he had some big wine tasting event in Napa Valley. I couldn't believe it. Oh, my goodness. Like this hurricane that missed us, thankfully so. Could you imagine Gavin Newsom as president if a hurricane hit America? Oh, my God. We'd be done. We'd be done. He's the worst. And he's nuts. He's completely insane. He's like
the Joker.
He's probably the most insane Democrat and highest ranking insane Democrat. There's a lot of Democrats that have mental problems, but he's the highest ranking Democrat currently with mental problems. Mom Donnie doesn't have mental problems. He's just incompetent, stupid. Hasn't done anything in his life and thinks he knows everything. Typical millennial Gen Z. Yeah. Living with my mom? No, I have not lived with my mom in, I don't know how many years. I moved out when I was 18, so 36 years ago. I lived with my mom 36 years ago, yes. But no, I moved out 36 years ago. Probably before you were born. Oh my gosh. I did stop by my mom's house yesterday, but yes. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. But my mom's getting up there. Maybe my mom will move in with me one day. I don't know.
Oh my God.
My mom wouldn't like that. She's very independent. Yes. Have you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe. But, you know, one of the questions, it was Brian Glenn. Brian Glenn's great. He asks very good questions. And he's very comfortable, too. And when Brian Glenn asks a question and you watch the rest of the press, the rest of the media hate Brian Glenn. They think that they're above him and they're jealous of him. And he brought up some good things. He said the thing he brought up with the suit was good. Zelenskyy wearing the suit was the elephant in the room, and he asked about that, which was good. But he said two other things, Brian Glenn, in the Oval Office today that were very, very good. One, he asked a great question. Did he ask it? I don't remember if he asked it of Zelenskyy or President Trump. You guys can let me know in the chat. But he said, and it was great because he's there with the media, right? Because he's part of the media, they're around him. And he said, do you think that the media want the war to end, or do they want the war to continue? And he was talking about all these jerks. He asked President Trump that question. And he was talking about those jerks that were standing around him. And he says, well, he says, we have some good people here, but we also have some not so good people here, President Trump said. And I think that was a good question because a lot of the media, they want the war to continue. It was a very good question. And then he complimented President Trump on how he cleaned, he's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. And they both left their spouses for each other. He left his wife and she left her husband. So, that's not good. But he made a good point. He said to President Trump, he's like, you've really rid D.C. of crime. He said, I was walking around D.C. with MTG yesterday. And he says, if you can walk through Washington, D.C., and he called her MTG. He didn't say, I thought that was kind of, you think that's what he calls her when they're having sex, MTG? But he says, if you're walking through D.C. with MTG, and you're not harassed, Washington, D.C. is safe. No, that's not good family values. And Laura Loomer is all over Marjorie Taylor Greene with that. That's one of the big things that Loomer goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene on. But I thought it was weird that he called her MTG. He didn't say Marjorie or Marge or whatever.
I'm sure he calls her Marjorie.
You think?
In private.
Do you think Brian Glenn calls Marjorie Taylor Greene Marjorie or MTG? What do you guys think? He might call her MTG. That's kind of cool. You think? I think he calls her MTG. I think he does. I think that's her nickname. Yeah. Yep. Marge. You think he calls her Marge?
Large Marge.
That would be a turnoff.
Yeah, that's not a good.
That's like grandma. I don't think he calls her Marge. No, that's not good.
It's not
They're home wreckers. Well, they wrecked each other's homes. They wrecked their own homes. No, I'm not approving of that. That's not good. No. I told you I did a whole show on this on YouTube about them being home wreckers. And then like a week later, I was at Turning Point and Brian Glenn was there and he was staring at me and wasn't looking good. He looked like he was still with Right Side. And I was filming it, I made a YouTube video. If you watch my YouTube video on Turning Point, you'll see. So I'm filming him and he's looking at me and he was giving me really dirty looks. And and I thought he knew who I was. He saw the show I did on him and Marjorie Taylor Greene. He was in the thumbnail and it's not, I didn't say, I don't remember what's in it. It's still up there. I'm sure you can find it if you look hard enough on my channel. But that had to be a couple years ago. It was uncomfortable. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. No doubt about it. It was uncomfortable. He was pissed. It was fresh. So he was going through it with his wife and he was still with Right Side and everything else. I'm sure he's gotten over it. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable.
It's worked out well for him, but not his wife.
He definitely elevated his career.
Absolutely.
By doing that. Yeah. No, it's a little life. I wouldn't approve of that. No. I would not approve of that. And Laura Loomer, she really goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene about this. She did a big thing about it a week or two ago. She was talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene wearing the cross and Christian values. And it's a lot like Hannity's girlfriend, right? Hannity's girlfriend, she writes books that are Christian books for kids. She's Miss Christianity, but she was shacking up with this guy. And I don't know if she broke up his marriage or not, but she was living in sin.
I'm sure she had something to do with it.
Yeah, it would not surprise me. So, they don't make us look good when they do things like that. Like I think, Howard Stern's downfall, a lot of people talking about his downfall. I think Howard Stern's downfall began when he left his wife. And he didn't leave his wife for the person he's with. He left his wife because he wanted to screw around. And if you go back and you watch Private Parts, the movie.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought he left.
No.
Whoever for this.
He might have been screwing around with her. I don't know. But he was hooking up with other scummy girls, But he, if you go back and watch Private Parts, a whole bunch of it is about how he has this great marriage, and no matter what, it's all an act, and him and his wife love each other. So when he and his wife split, and he left his wife, I think that's when his career started. I think a lot of people lost respect for him because of that. And he started, because, you know, his audience grew up with him. So, you know, these are people that are married, they have families, that, you know, some of them have grandkids. And I just think he lost them with that. You know? I would think the same thing would happen to me. If I left my wife for somebody else, some famous person or something, I think a lot of you would be like, Brian, you're an a-hole, I'm not watching anymore.
I think Emily would stop talking.
Yeah, my daughter would be pissed. You know, you'd be pissed too, Kathy, I'm sure. Everybody be pissed. My mom would be pissed.
She can have you.
Yeah, exactly. But I would think you guys would think the same thing about me. I would expect that. That's crazy. You know, so I do not have... I like Brian Glenn when he's there with Trump asking the questions, but I don't like that he and Marjorie Taylor Greene... and for them to have done that, that means they were cheating on their spouses with each other, right? So I don't know. I don't think that's good at all. And it's just not good. And I've always liked Marjorie Taylor Greene and Brian Glenn, but that's not good. But that's definitely was the beginning of the end for Howard Stern, because it made it just, I think a lot of his audience was disappointed in him. Yeah. In fact, if I remember correctly, at the end of the Private Parts movie, he's getting off an airplane and his wife and kids are meeting him, and he's talking about this great man. And there's some scenes where
his 3 daughters.
his wife is with a real estate agent and got Howard on in the car, and they're looking for a house, and she's like, "Oh, that's just an act. He's not really that way," you know. So no, I think that was the beginning of the end for Howard Stern, and also his whole ego and persona and everything. And look what happened. He turned into a big wimp. You know, after the lockdowns, he didn't leave his house for like 5 years. He was doing the thing remotely. He wouldn't be in the studio with anyone else, not even Robin. He made himself look like a wuss. And he lost a lot of respect from his core audience when he was so wimpy. You know, during all of that, I went to the radio station. You know, I do the radio show from home most of the time. During the lockdowns and everything, I went to the radio station every single day. Right? I went to the radio station every day, did the show. I didn't miss it. I didn't miss a show. Went to meetings, did everything. You know? And I did that because, for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I did it is a lot of people couldn't go to work and weren't being allowed to go to work. And if I was going to do it. I never listened to Howard when he was on regular radio because I've always been on in the morning. And that's when Stern was on. I didn't listen to Stern for more. I saw him on TV and knew who he was and heard a clip here and there and saw the movie, but I never listened to his show. And I did I did watch his show on television when he was on. Remember that Channel 9 show we used to do? That was pretty. I watched that, but that wasn't his radio show.
I saw him on MTV when he came
The
out
Fart
as
Man thing?
I had no clue who he was.
Yeah, I knew who he was.
You were in radio.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this big, ugly
Yeah.
guy with the hair? I had no clue who he was.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
But I never listened to his radio show really until he went on Sirius. And I remember everyone was like, oh, this is the future of broadcast. And then the internet took off, and Sirius is just not really that. You know, we have the satellite radio in the car. And our new car we got a year ago. And you get that year free of the satellite radio. It just expired, and we're not even going to get it. Not even going to get it. You know? And we do have it, the app. So I can just hook the app up to the Bluetooth if I want to hear the news. But, you know, but that's if he never left his wife, he would not be going off the air right now.
Who do you think they're going to, if they don't give him a new deal, which I don't think they will, do you think they'll give Megyn Kelly a bigger deal? Who's the next big rising star?
Megyn Kelly is the big
And
person on
she's pretty
Sirius.
big, and she's on Sirius now.
Yeah.
They might offer her a big
But I don't know why anybody would bother listening to Megyn Kelly on Sirius. You can just get her here on YouTube And,
Alright.
because I would listen to it on just on Bluetooth in the car.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say he's worth this, he's worth that. His wife has very expensive taste. He bought this palace up the street from Mar-a-Lago here in Palm Beach. So don't be so sure that he's got all this money in the bank. First off, his ex-wife, he's got to pay her through the yin-yang, okay? She didn't only get half of what he got. She's got a big chunk of that show. And he's paying her, just like Hannity. Hannity, he makes $50 million a year, Hannity. But he's got to pay his ex-wife. I mean, you got to think about, like, with Hannity. These guys, and Howard Stern.
And they base it on the income you're making when you get a divorce, not when you first got married.
Their wives were supporting these guys when they were making it up, all the way up. And then they get up and get famous and they get money, and then, boom, they leave their wives. Basically, his Stern's wife was like a social worker. So she was supporting the family for years. And Hannity, same with him. It's really scummy. They're scummy. They're both scummy. I'm sorry. Hannity and Brian Glenn, I don't know. He's not at the same level, obviously. But he wasn't making a lot of money on Right Side. I don't know what his wife was doing. But she put up with a lot from him, too, with Right Side. Probably not. He was traveling nonstop, probably not making a lot of money, and I thought he had an ownership stake, but it doesn't. Would he have left if he had an ownership stake in it? In Right Side? Probably not. I like the guys that are on Right Side now, but it's not the same. The one guy they have the two guys. I don't know their names. What's the one guy that does the podcast?
Yeah, I like him.
He's really good. The skinny guy.
I don't know their names.
They're both nice. I like them both, but it's just not, it's not what it was. Some of the excitement's gone. But they're reformatting it because there aren't Trump rallies anymore, and they had to morph beyond it. But, whatever. That's Coca-Cola that just went by. Behind me. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is Alvarez. Yeah, I like him. Alvarez, he's really good. I remember when he first was on Right Side. He was at a rally. He was covering a rally. He was outside at a rally. He was so excited, wasn't he, Kathy? He was so excited to be on. They're good. I like these guys that are on Right Side. They're both good. He was so excited to be on Right Side, and he was interviewing people out front, and he interviewed this guy, and he said something you're not allowed to say. And he thought, oh, I'm screwed.
I thought he was done.
I thought he was done, too. I mean, I was like, oh, my goodness. And then there's the other guy, that's the skinnier guy. What's his name? He does like a podcast once a week. And I can't remember his name either. But I like both of them. Yeah, Matthew Alvarez. He's very good. He seems like a very nice guy. He was so excited to be. He's like, I can't believe I'm on Right Side. I can't remember what rally it was at. But it was kind of like the beginning of the return of the Trump rallies is when he joined. Liz Willis. Liz Willis sent me a DM a couple weeks ago on X, remember? Mm-hmm. And I wrote her back, and she hadn't gotten back to me. But I was shocked. I looked there, and Liz Willis sent me a DM. I was in shock. Liz Willis is the one she got me my autographed Trump hat at Mar-a-Lago. That was crazy. I'm not going to tell the story again, but that was nuts. That was nuts. But I can't remember the name of the other guy. What's the name of the other guy on Right Side now that does the podcast once a week?
I don't know his name.
Do you guys know in the chat who I'm talking about? I like him. He's very good, too. Oh. I can't remember his name to save my life. If I saw it, I might know it. But, yeah, Alvarez is the one guy. Oh. Do you have the remote? Toss me the remote. I'll pull it up. I'll get his name. I might not catch it. No, I won't catch it. Hold on. Let me see here.
I'm sure he's on.
Let me pull it. Yeah, probably. They're probably on right now. Let me see. I can find his name. Let me see. RSBN. Let's see. I'll find his show. Now I can't find his show. That's him. Let's see. Isn't that crazy? Let's see if somebody in the chat knows his name.
I'll Google it. I'll Google it.
No.
Drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I'll go to their website.
That's him in these videos, but I don't see his name. Yeah, Matthew Alvarez is the one. I like him. And the other guy's good too. Let's see.
Robert McNeely.
Yeah, Robert McNeely. Yes. He's the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah. Robert McNeely. No, Liz Willis was on Right Side. Liz Wheeler is someone else. Liz Wheeler used to be on One American News, and now she's got, she's been on YouTube. Liz Willis was one of the people that was at the Trump rallies for Right Side Broadcasting. And she was good. I liked her. Yeah, McNeely. He's the other one. Alvarez and McNeely. They're both very good. And McNeely does a podcast once a week on Right Side. Usually on Mondays, right, Kathy? It's usually beginning of the week sometime.
What?
He does a podcast, McNeely, on Right Side. It's once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's pretty good. They're on the same page I am on most things, I would imagine. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Thanks for watching. My name's Brian.